saying this. I feel uncomfortable making this video. I wanted all of this to go away. I just said, no, I'm not gonna fuck you, bro. Get out of here. I just tried to ignore the kid for 5 fucking years. Here we are 5 years later. He won't stop talking about me. And
in this video, I'm gonna be talking about this video by Andrew Tate, which is backed by Numerology. So what happened was, today I saw this on my feed. Andrew Tate, it was very shocking, was calling out Sneako. Now, if you don't know Sneako is one of the top streamers in the world. He's a very influential guy, and he used to kind of really like Andrew Tate. And the long story short of it is, Sneako's been making a lot of videos about Andrew Tate and kind of bad-mouthing him, as Sneako does. He's kind of made his career on that. And Andrew Tate finally said, fine, I'm going to release this information, which is like 5 years old, that basically he revealed Sneako is a homosexual who is trying to, basically making passes at him and trying to get with him. And I saw that video, and I was not totally surprised, because I saw Sneako with Kanye West, and I immediately knew that Sneako's up to something. You don't hang out with guys like that. Kanye West is, of course, homosexual as well. So I wanted to look at his numerology, and what I found was profound. So in this video, this is for people who are interested in learning more about a little bit more advanced numerology. This is going to be using Chaldean numerology, oldest form of numerology in the world. We're going to look at 2 things in this video. Number 1, the so-called gay vibes or homosexual indicators in the chart using numerology. And we're going to be looking at why Sneako is getting exposed right now. It's very profound. I'm going to be sharing revealing some things in this video that nobody else is talking about. You're probably not going to hear anywhere else. And let's just jump right in. So, number 1, we have to look at his numeroscope. So, to get this simply put, this is his birthday, okay? This is his day of birth. This is his month of birth. This is his year of birth, which is 1998. 1 + 9 + 9 + 8, 27. This month and year creates this life theme here. This chart right here is a different presentation of this. This is his day of birth, his month, his year, his life path. And this here is an outer psyche. This is the inner birthday. This is the outer one. They're similar. I'm not going to go too much into it, but just giving you an idea. This is based on the birthday. This is based on the name. Okay. All these diamonds stack on top of each other. They're all layers. This is the bottommost layer, who he is beneath all the masks, all the modulation. And as you go along, it progressively gets more and more stacked on top. Now, lastly, these diamond charts, which are all fractals of each other, different layers of the body. This is like the mind center here, this top center. This is like the solar plexus, the sacral and the root chakra, like this. So what we're looking here is Sneako. This is the bottom layer of Sneako. Now, there's something called gay vibes, as I mentioned, which is certain numbers in combination with each other that gives a higher potential to be attractive to the same sex, where they will be more attracted to you for some reason, and also tendencies to be attracted to the same sex. Now, if you see any of these numbers with your friends or family, I want to make it very clear, doesn't mean that they're homosexual. You have to analyze the whole chart. There's a lot of combinations that have to be looked at. So, in short, is Sneako, does he have the gay vibes? 100% yes, Sneako has the gay vibes. Not a huge surprise to me, but here we have numerological evidence and based on fundamentals. For example, the 18-9 solar plexus, this is one of the top gay positions here, especially in combination with the 15-6, which it is here. These two talk to each other, and the 16-7. I have personally witnessed 16-7. This is not one that's commonly known. That is highly associated with homosexuals. One of my friends, acquaintances that I know, 16-7. I've seen 16-7 in at least 4 cases associated with homosexuality. When it is associated with the top homosexuality gay vibe numbers, 18-9 with the 15-6, it's a strong likelihood. Now he also has the 8, all around 8 life path, 8 day, 8. 8 is a number in imbalance of perversion because of extreme restriction. Think of the Catholic priest, hyper repressive of their sexuality, ends up molesting little boys. 8 can cause perversions through extreme suppression and like this. So in short, yes, there's the gay vibes. There's some stuff in his name chart as well, but I don't want to go too much into the homosexuality. That's not the point of this video. It was just to give some A little bit of a gloss over this for people who are interested that yes, you can see the sexual orientation and tendencies of people, and yes, there's a high likelihood that Sneako is very attractive to the same sex, and a potential that he is attracted to the opposite sex. Okay, but why now? Why is it coming out now? This is where we're going to start getting some interesting information for people who are studying cycles of time, and this is for anybody, especially the layman, because at the end of the day, the better you are aligned with time, the more success you will have. The more aligned with time, the more extreme the success you will have. And the contrary, the more that you go against time, like Sneako is doing, which I'm going to give exact specific examples, it will destroy you because there's a resistance, a clash, a dissonance. And you can't fight with time. Unfortunately, time is sort of God, in the sense of it wields the absolute power. Time is there, and it is a wave. You can either ride the wave or get pummeled by it. That's why J.B. Morgan, and he's not the only one, I think in the Epstein files it came out that they have elite astrology clubs, that people have been able to manifest extreme levels of power, extreme levels of wealth. J.P. Morgan, billionaires use astrology, not millionaires. Millionaires are wealthy, but billionaires are extremely wealthy. To get to that extreme level, you need to use time. Because if you can slingshot yourself, you can really get fast and good results. Now, Sneako, unfortunately for Sneako, is not using time properly, and I'm going to talk about it. So, why now? Well, number one, Sneako is in a 8 personal year, but specifically a 17-8 personal year, which is different. And this is the big difference with Chaldean. One of the big differences with Chaldean and Pythagorean numerology is Chaldean numerology accounts for the compound numbers, what are called compounds. Compound 17, 26, 44, 35. These are all variants of number 8. Pythagorean will simply reduce them and lump them together as this is the number 8. In Chaldean, each one of these has differences. So for example, 17.8. We're going to talk about it, but first, why 17.8? Because his birthday is in September, which means he hasn't hit his birthday yet, which means he is still in a 9 universal year as far as his personal year is calculated. It would be 8 plus, it would be the 8 here plus the 9 of the universal year 9. Shout out GG33 who turned me on to the information. Idea about your personal year does not start until your birthday, which then I later researched. And for example, I have a case study on my blog. Anthony Joshua suffered a major car accident, lost 2 of his friends in his personal year, when within 1 month of his birthday, which is when his 7 personal year started. 7 is the number of loss and specifically injury. Okay, with that, 17.8. What does that mean? That means this is a year, let's talk about 17.8. It is a very powerful number, as all the number 8 numbers are, but 17.8 is very, very powerful. The reason is, in balance, when it's in a good form, it's the spotlight number. You'll see 17.8 with a lot of celebrities. You'll see 17.8 with a lot of very, very beautiful, almost some mesmerizing qualities about them. They kind of look like, for like females, they look like nymphs, like they have come down from heaven. They have that perfect, sleek form, just a beautiful form. 17.8 gives a lot of beauty. It gives a lot of attention. And there's reasons for that, which I'm not going to go into this video because I'm trying to keep this as brief as possible. In imbalance, 17 is a number of exposure, meaning if you are doing some boo-boo and you're trying to sweep it under the rug, you will be exposed. It will be brought out into the spotlight for everybody to see. Why is that? Because number one, 17.8 is a variant of 8, which is a karmic number. 8 is all about integration. Look at the word 8 in integration. Integrate. 8 is a maturer of the soul. It's not going to push off your karma to another life or a future lifetime. It's not going to give your karma to your children or your ancestors. 8 is about giving you the lessons and fast so that you can learn and integrate. The ultimate goal of 8 is to create something so bulletproof that it stands the test of time, meaning it is truth. Truth is that which does not change. Truth is immortality. 8 is the number of immortality, and the way that it does that is by integrating every nuance layer of your being, one by one by one by one, putting you on time loops until you integrate each layer. Now 17.8, the way that it does that, unlike, let's say, 26.8, 26.8 will do this through relationships. A lot of relationship karma. You have a lot of lessons through other people, partnerships, whether it's intimate or otherwise. 17.8 is about putting your business out into the world. And why it does that is because 17.8, you see the 7 on the back end. 17.8, you are supposed to shine the light inside of yourself and resolve your own imbalances. If you don't do that, there will come a point, like here, when 17.8 becomes active, that it will put your business out there because you are refusing to look at it. So it will force you to see it by making it public knowledge. I have a very prominent 17.8 person in my life who I have seen manifest this multiple times. When they try to do things behind closed doors they're not supposed to be doing, somehow it gets put out and then everyone knows about it. This has happened multiple times. I have seen this firsthand. Now, he is in a 17.8 person here, but look at his chart. Look at all the 17.8 energy he has here. 17.8 here, 17.8 here, 17.8, 17.8, 17.8, 17.8. So when this personal year hit, it's turning all this information on. As time unfolds, this is how time becomes predictable, is because when you have certain potentials in your chart, if they are in your cycles, they're going to turn on that information in your potential that you brought into this life. So for Sneako, unfortunately for Sneako, and fortunately as well, because everything always works out in the end, this is something he needs to go to the next level, and that is exactly what is happening. He needed to be exposed. Okay, now, that is the general theme of exposure. And we can say because he is born on the 8th day, 8 life path, all this 8 energy, he's a very, very karmic person, which means he's going to be getting all that karma that he's put out very, very quickly. Now, here's one of the secrets that nobody else is talking about. This is a pattern that I personally observed that I haven't seen anybody else say. Not that nobody else may or may not be saying it. I haven't seen it. So, Sneako is a tiger. This is the year of the horse. Tiger, horse, and dog are in a friend triad. They're all best friends. I have seen a pattern when your personal year hits, in this case also your friends, it doesn't always mean it's going to be a great year for you. Yes, it'll be a good year for you to initiate things and put your energy into stuff, starting things and imprinting it with energy that is conducive to as opposed to resistant. However, what I have observed, Anthony Joshua, born year of the snake, suffered a major car accident, lost 2 of his friends, personally witnessed that firsthand in the year of the snake. Andrew Tate, born year of the tiger, got arrested in the year of the tiger, was thrown in a Romanian prison for, 60, 90 days, just basically locked up, had no proof, no evidence, he was guilty until proven innocent, basically. So it was kind of unjust, and he was eventually released because the evidence wasn't actually real. So why did this happen is because the primary thing is, if you are off track, when your personal year comes around, there may be circumstances that will force you to get back on track. And this is because, in this case, the personal year is about, the personal animal sign is about the year, and the year is the fundamentalness of your destiny. What do I mean by that? Your life path, also sometimes called destiny number, is based on your year, month, and day. But what is the month? The month is in reference to the year. The month comes out of the year. For example, September 1998 is different than September 2025. These are 2 different energies. So the month is in reference and context to the year, and the day is in context to the month. So the month is an extension of the year, the day is an extension of the month. The year is resting beneath all of that, including the life path. It is a fundamentalness of your being. It is the bottom layer of your psyche. It is the core structure that your karma is built around in this life. So when your personal year comes around, if you are off track and you're not in vibration with what you're supposed to be doing, we have some sort of things that will put you on track. Okay, with that said, let's get into the really juicy stuff, which is his destiny rose, also called year rose or year ranks. These are advanced prediction calculations from Chaldean numerology, the oldest form of numerology in the world. Quick lesson on these so it makes sense. The left side, left 3 are the actual manifested circumstances. The right 3 are behind closed doors and how he personally, subjectively reacts and perceives what's going on. The blue column is the outermost, most important of what actually manifests. And the farther you go to the right side, the more you're going to see what's driving it, what's behind it. And these are all broken up into months. However, even this energy down here, well, it says November, because it is the destiny point of the year, it's pulling all the energy towards it. It has a flavor and flavors the entire year. Okay, let's get into it. He is in this period right now, January, February, April, because we are currently in March. That means he's in the 18-9 major period. What is 18-9? Well, 18-9 is a number of conflict. It is a number of ego, big, big ego. having to fight with your ego. We're also in a universal 1 year. So, unfortunately for Sneako, which I will show you, he's also 28, which is another 1. He is really trying to impose himself and force himself, making his ego very, very big. He's bashing Andrew Tate, even though he knows damn well Andrew Tate has some stuff on him. I also saw Sneako recently in a debate with another gentleman, and I watched some of the highlights. The gentleman was just running all over Sneako, making Sneako look stupid. Basically, bringing to surface that Sneako's ideologies and what he was saying was more propaganda and it wasn't actually based in truth. So why is this happening for Sneako? Look at all of the 16-7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This whole period leads to our 16-7 all over the year, which is activating the 16-7s already in his chart, which are also all over the place. His name is a 79. 7 plus 9 is 16-7. What is 16-7? Humiliation, loss of status, the shattered citadel. 16-7's depiction, which is a symbolic representative of the vibration, is a very, very narrow tower being struck by lightning with a king with a crown falling headfirst from the top of the tower to the ground. What it is showing, the 1 in the 16 is the tower. The 6 is the ground it is built upon. 7 is the lightning strike of truth. The false ego of pride that is built upon something that is not true is struck to the ground by the 7, causing a loss of status, a humiliation. Your self-appointed kingliness, your self-appointed ego, which is not established in truth, comes crashing down. And this is why Sneako, the more that he tries to force himself this year, the more his ego is going to get battered. And unfortunately, this is a really good example of why it would be wise and ideal to consult with a numerologist and astrologer to tell you what's going on, because as far as Sneako is concerned, Sneako, the natural tendency, because of the period he's in, is to force his ego, is to put himself into the spotlight, make these videos, make himself more visible. Unfortunately, that's working against him because of the energy that's standing behind it. What this is showing is, number 1, these double 88s. 88 is one of 3 karmic penalty numbers associated with major losses. 8 is his life path and his day vibration, also his mental center. This means that this 16-7 is not just an ordinary one. It's surrounded by all these 8s and especially 17-8s, which makes it very, very karmic, which is a promise in his chart that if he commits bad boo-boo, not only will it be exposed, but it's going to be very humiliating. And here is the time that has been slated for him to experience this humiliation, which here is showing he is feeling very anxious. There is a major feeling of being in survival mode, having to deal with some sort of major conflict, which then leads to major humiliation and loss due to the martyr, the victim, the hanged man, 12-3. This is suffering due to other people, external forces that you cannot control. For example, another influencer exposing you on the internet. And other people coming out and sharing some things as well. I've seen other comments. I'm not going to get into that now. But this is showing here. What it's showing is that Sneako is in his battle, survival mode, anxiety. It's going to continue on through the year. And here it shows he's going to present himself that he's got a lot of faith, that he's got a lot of hope, that it is like he's going to lean on his religion here, which Sneako is very much about his religions. But actually behind the scenes, it's bullshit. It's showing that he's actually going to be extremely terrified, and he's feeling like he has to make a decision. He's very indecisive. He's being pulled in 2 directions, and he feels like he's in survival mode. And this humiliation, humbling, loss of status here leads to a major karmic event dealing with his ego, where he feels like he has to muzzle himself, the muzzled lion, 11-2. He can't really say what he wants to say, and he feels very, very self-conscious. It can't, like, his confidence level is very, very low. And here you see the way the year ends for him in the inside is survival mode. He's in basically damage control, and showing here a high potential for loss of income. A lot of drama here behind the scenes. He's still trying to control communication. Every time he tries to impose himself, it's going to cause major losses for himself this year. So if he was to have consulted with a numerologist This would have been clear that this is not a time, even though you may have tendency to want to force yourself, to put yourself in the spotlight, the more that you do this, it's going to cause greater and greater loss and humiliation. What you should be doing right now is self-reflection. You should be taking that 17.8 and shining it on the inside, which is supported here. 16.7 is one of, if not the most transcendental of all the numbers, highly conducive to practices like meditation. This would be an excellent time for him to get himself out of the public spotlight and put himself in this 17.8 here on the back end, in the spotlight on the inside, and shine a light into his mind. Sneako's got this chip on his shoulder. You can see it in his videos. He's angry about something. That's why he's always talking smack about everybody. He needs to find out what that is about. We can see clearly that there is a suppression and a repression. Maybe it's homosexuality, maybe it's something else. But we can see, looking at Sneako's chart, not to put him on blast, this is using him as an example. Because I will say, there is always a silver lining to all of this. This is really what Sneako needs. And why I say this is because look at Andrew Tate again. He got hit in his personal ear. But what happened? Andrew Tate profited from that tremendously. He released a program about how to protect yourself against matrix attacks. His publicity went up. He started exposing more governmental corruption. He profited, although it was a bit of a snag. He actually made out with this. Sneako, because it's happening in a year that is friendly to him, there is a potential for this to work out really well for him down the road. And at the end of the day, 8 blossoms later in life. He's going to have to go through a lot of struggles early on, but down the road, Sneako actually has the potential to be somewhat influential for a long period of time. But there is this process of he has to lose his ego. He's got to drop it. And it's unfortunate because he has this tendency here to have a big ego, quite frankly, and to shut his emotions off and steamroll through people. Be very, very manipulative. Be very cold and detached, not really concerned with how he's influencing or impacting other people. Like he's okay with hurting other people. This quality about him has to be changed, and if he doesn't change it, it's going to continue to destroy him more and more, especially right now because of the time period he's in. So, guys, time is very, very important. You have to understand what is going on if you want to maximize and leverage it to your advantage. Because if he leveraged this, he could have been used, what would have happened to him, he could have gone to meditation, shined a light into himself, got a lot of spiritual downloads, and became his celebrity, his shine, his stardom would have increased tremendously because 16.7 in balance, many of the influencers are carrying this vibration. It's nobody talking about this. 16.7 is one of the top influential numbers that brings people to you. Aiden Ross has a prominent 16.7. Kai Cenat, these are the top streamers in the world. I Show Speed, prominent 16.7. These are literally the top 3 streamers in the world. These guys are all having this vibration. So 16.7 can increase the celebrity if you use it properly. Now, the caveat with 16.7, obviously, it comes with a big price. If you try to puff your ego up and it's not based in truth, there's going to come a point where it's going to come crashing down. And for Sneako, that time is now. Now, again, if he was to have consulted with a numerologist or an astrologer, they would have been able to advise him that the more he would have leaned into spirituality at this point, the more he would have spent time in his own energy outside of the public eye and shined the light inside of himself, he would have prospered tremendously. But unfortunately for him, the 8 energy is bringing all this karma back to him of him talking all this shit while behind closed doors would be kind of a hypocrite and not really being established in truth, kind of having built for himself this false ego, this false pride. And his life path is saying, hey, I'm here to mature you. This isn't going to work. You're an 8. We have to integrate. We have to establish you in truth in order for you to make the most of this lifetime and pass the karmic test. If I allow you to do this, you're going to be messing yourself up for a long, long time because trajectory is everything. What you're doing is creating trajectories which end up in destinations, which is what's called as destiny. Okay, with that said, I have a reading on my site, Amunra, AMMUNRA.com, which is called Perfect Timing. You can buy individually or part of a larger bundle pack. I will go through your time specifically for this year and the future years to help you to align. Whether you are a business owner, you want to get an edge in business, when to launch a product, when to launch a website, when to open a bank account, LLC, when to get in a relationship, when to not get married, and when to get married. This is another thing. People getting married and starting relationships at the wrong time, creating very bad trajectories. Check out my reading Perfect Timing at amunra.com. Check out my blog for more case studies like this where you can read about Anthony Joshua, Andrew Tate, and others, amunra.substack.com. Questions, comments, leave it underneath this video. As always, wishing the best. Until next time, happy manifesting. God bless. Om.